If I could, I don't know, Ellie, because you know me, I go on instinct, and if the idea hit me tomorrow, I might call them and say, come on, let's do something. And so I couldn't really tell you. If it happens, it'll happen.
Greetings. Welcome back to the Blue Dreamer broadcast. This is a new episode of Blue Speak. Today I've got on vocalist of the band Pleasure Pill, Mr. Jonah Paz. How you doing, brother?
Doing good. Thanks for having me.
For sure. Thank you for coming on, man.
Yeah.
So, let me get it started like this. I interviewed your dad a couple weeks ago, and he, I always ask the artists, I asked you too, give me 3 songs, influential songs from, the beginning, the middle, and recent. And the most recent song you picked was one of your songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really realize it until we were playing it and I was talking to him. And he didn't outright say it, but I was like, oh shit, that's your son. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I was like, respect to that, dude. Dope. So I heard it and I thought it was really cool, man. It was different, for me, and so that's why I was like, well, if I'm going to have him on, I definitely want to talk to you because I want to know what's going on in your head,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So that's how that came about. So how long have you been playing in Pleasure Pill? How long has that been going?
Pleasure Pill's been going for about, I think we're coming up on like 4 years.
Okay.
But we had a different drummer at the start. And then we got Dom, who's our drummer now.
Okay.
Like a year and a half into the thing, or a year in.
Yeah.
So it's been like 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Okay. And your brother's in the band too, right?
Yeah, Ethan's in the band. Yeah.
Okay. And so was it you guys that started, the two you started playing and then branched out, or how did it start?
Yeah, Ethan and I were in a band called Jinx,
Okay.
like when I was in high school. And that was different type of music, like different everything.
Okay.
And we were playing music together. And then I just, during COVID, I started writing different songs and different types of songs and stuff. And just needed more people in the band. So that's when we got Luke and Ivan and started really doing Pleasure Pill as like a whole new band,
Nice. And when did you get really like started in music? I mean, obviously you grew up in a household that was musical,
Yeah,
to say
yeah,
the least, I would say.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I was, I mean, my parents say, they got me a drum set when I was like 2
Yeah.
or whatever. Just because they kind of saw the interest,
Right.
that I kind of had in music. But I really didn't start playing until I was like I learned guitar when I was like 7 or 8. But when I was a kid, I was just really into sports and baseball and stuff.
Okay.
But I joined my first band when I was like 14. And ever since then, I've just been playing music and stuff like that.
Nice. So you started playing guitar first?
Yeah, guitar was like the first. I mean, drums, I can play drums pretty well, and I started that earlier,
Nice. Fuck yeah.
but guitar was like the first instrument I had to like really learn and that I wanted to learn, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
And your brother, you older, or who's older? You or your
I'm
brother?
older.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how far apart are you guys?
I think we're
Couple years?
3, yeah,
Okay.
3 or 4, 3.5 or 3 or 4.
Okay. And so did he just
I'm not
pick
good at
up
math.
after you, or?
Yeah, I mean, Ethan and I have always kind of been close, and you know, really it was just because I needed someone to play music with, and he was like super close. So
Yeah,
he
nice.
just kind of I kind of forced him to start playing music, but he definitely has his own interests in it, and you know, carries
Yeah,
his own weight and stuff. But
for sure.
yeah.
And what are your guys' like styles like? Do you guys have, I mean, obviously you come together to play in Pleasure Pill and whatever you
hmm
guys have done before, but do you guys have like different tastes? Like, are there certain things that you like that he doesn't like?
there's definitely things in between, you know,
Yeah.
but I think the core of what I like is practically the same for what the core he likes, you know what I
Okay.
mean? And
Yeah. I mean, I've just, so, I've known of your dad for a long time, for many
mm,
years, because, I grew up in a household where, Jason Manuel, the guitarist in Impel was I was like, me and him, his brother were best friends. And so we would see Impel. I mean, they would come to the house and jam at the house and we would see them all the
right.
time. And so, and I don't want to make it just about your dad or anything, but it's kind of, it's interesting to me to see how you guys have come out of where he comes from. I find that very interesting, and it's cool when I heard your music, I was like, okay, it's different.
Yeah.
You're not straight up hardcore or anything like that. And I mean, do you even like hardcore music? Like,
Oh yeah,
for
yeah. I
sure.
mean, obviously growing up in the household that I grew up in, it's hard not to, you know, but
Yeah.
that's I mean, that's where I started playing music, you know, when I was 14 and stuff. That those were like the first type of bands that I was in,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And those were like the first shows that I was going to
Yeah.
on my own and stuff. Obviously, like when I was really, really little, my parents were still going to shows. And I remember vaguely going to shows with them, but like hardly. Um, but really, when I was like 13, 14, I like found my own community in San Diego and
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, that's where it all started, you know.
And how did you branch out? What inspired you to do something different? Because obviously, to me, Pleasure Pill sounds way different than,
Right.
I would say a little more kind of poppy, not in a negative way,
Yeah.
but it's just a little more catchy, more.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think it comes with just staying making music, you know,
Yeah.
and evolving and growing.
Yeah.
Um, I also was a really big Beatles kid,
Okay.
you know what I mean? So when I was like 6 or something, I think my mom bought me like a Beatles picture book or something
Nice.
because my parents just have really good it seemed like they had really good intuition with like my interests and stuff, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like, "Oh, he'd probably like this, he'd probably like that." So,
Yeah.
um, and yeah, once I found the Beatles, it was just game over for me, really. And that kind of love for them really hasn't stopped since then. So I think going into like hardcore as a teenager, inevitably I was going to find my way with writing music to kind of be
Right.
more poppy and stuff like that, and just more straightforward rock and roll, you know?
Yeah. And it's, to me, it's progressive. When you can be in a heavy band. I started in a heavy band. I was the vocalist. I was playing guitar, but
hmm
it was just because nobody else was down to sing. So I was just like, yeah, fuck, I can play guitar and yell at the same time. I
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
really influenced by any hardcore bands or anything like that. I was more influenced by like Deftones and Korn, and that's what I
Right.
was into back in the day. But I was just
hmm
filling in the spot, so I would play guitar and sing, but it wasn't anything melodic. I didn't get into like melodic writing until later on. Even now, I'm still writing shit that's nothing like I've written before. So I'm still learning how to write melodies and actual
hmm
like hooks and things like that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, when I found like hardcore for myself, and punk for myself and stuff like that, I was always drawn to melody, and
Yeah.
I was never really kind of, I was more like punk rock first and like hardcore first, if that makes sense. Like I was never
Yeah.
really into like the really heavy breakdown stuff. I was more into like the fast kind of melodic, like, like the late 70s stuff,
Yeah.
like Sex Pistols, for instance, it's just really catchy,
Yeah.
and really, even though it's aggressive and tough and crazy, it's really catchy. And
Yeah, it's got
that's always where I kind
some
of,
rhythm to it, you know.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
got some bounce.
totally,
It's got some bounce, the bounce, you know.
totally, yeah. So starting from there, obviously when you first start writing music, you're shit. So you're
Yeah.
just trying and
Yeah.
throwing,
Yeah.
whatever
See what
sticks, whatever
sticks.
sticks.
Yeah.
But inevitably, if you're motivated enough and if you keep trying, then you'll find your own voice and how to do things. And that's kind of where we're at now.
For sure. For sure. And how old are you now?
I just turned 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So about 10 years maybe.
Yeah, yeah, just about 10 years.
Nice. And how have you progressed? I mean, obviously you're saying you're more into melody and stuff, and hearing Pleasure Pill, I was I wasn't surprised, but it was just kind of I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect anything, but when I heard it, I was like, dude, this is cool.
Hmm.
It's very catchy, like I said, you know, and
Thank you.
I respect that. I respect that a lot, you know, and now when I've asked you for more songs, I mean, obviously I hear the Beatles, you know, I even kind of think Oasis a little bit in a way.
Yeah,
Even
sure.
in your vocal delivery is kind of
Right.
reminds me of that. It just reminds me of it. You know,
Yeah,
obviously, and
yeah.
they're
I mean,
Beatles, you know, in the same vein, you know, obviously. So
yeah. Yeah, I think when it comes to Pleasure Pill, it's kind of that there's definitely, at least for me, I definitely see, punk and the aggression sometimes and stuff like that and the
yeah,
heavy guitar for sure.
yeah,
Um and for vocal delivery and stuff, I just, in my head, I'm always just trying to like give it as much as I can. But yeah, just with my vocals and stuff, I just try to kind of give it all I can, and definitely in vein of Liam and
yeah,
I think of Johnny Rotten as well, and
yeah.
just really, powerful singers, that's what I try to do.
Punk delivery, but not quite the attitude.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I definitely say that. Yeah.
And how punk do you get? I mean, I'm not too big into punk bands, but like for me, the punkiest band that I think that I've ever loved is Bad Brains. I've loved the Bad Brains.
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously, I was born into a lot of
Right.
knowledge,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, for sure. I
my
don't doubt that.
parents showed me a lot of bands that kids don't really find until they're, in high school or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, growing up like in middle school when I first really kind of got the bug or whatever, it was definitely Bad Brains and Minor Threat and Gorilla Biscuits
Yeah.
and just kind of like the staple kind of hardcore punk bands. But then once I kind of grew older into high school and stuff and kind of finding stuff on my own, I was really into like just getting more into like the late 70s stuff like Stiff Little Fingers
Okay.
and The Jam and Sex Pistols, like I said, The Clash,
Yeah.
just a bunch of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff that was going on like at the time. So 10 years ago, like there was a lot of bands in Texas that I was looking up to. Um, and yeah, just whatever I could find really.
For sure. For sure. So how does your songwriting like process happen for I mean for the whole band and then for you yourself, you know?
Yeah. Um, so I pretty much handle the majority of the writing for Pleasure Pill. Like I write all the songs and all the guitar parts and the bass line and
Yeah.
all that stuff are me.
Yeah.
And I pretty much just try to write every day and just try to keep, poking at it and seeing what comes out, and
Yeah.
just me and my guitar kind of thing,
For sure.
just doing it that way. And then once I feel like I have something to show to the band, I show it to the band and see if it works, and if it does, we keep nailing at it together. And that's where kind of everyone else, I feel like, puts in their personality into it, and we kind of get like a final good thing.
Yeah. Did you go to school at all for music or anything, or was it just straight up?
I
Can you?
never studied music, no, or
Okay.
went to school for music.
Can you read
Like
music or any?
I can't read
No. Yeah.
music
Me
or
neither.
anything like
Me
that.
neither.
No. It's just all like,
Chinese.
it's
Yeah.
really just going on YouTube and learning other
Right.
songs and learning chords from those songs, and then bringing them and
Yeah.
playing them, and then your brain kind of runs away with them, and
Yeah.
you figure something else out.
Like your interpretation of whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It's really just about, for me, just playing every day. When,
Yeah.
like, we were on tour this year for a month,
Hmm.
and I like wasn't really writing, and it is a thing of, when you come back after not doing it for so long, you really kind of lose it for a little bit,
Yeah.
and you kind of need to like get the wheel spinning again,
Yeah.
So I just try to keep at it, just keep doing it.
Yeah. What keep what keeps you most motivated now for yourself? Like, where does inspiration come from for you on a daily basis, since you're saying you're playing daily?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of how I've ran it for years at this point. I
Hmm.
just kind of do it all the time. And yeah, I don't know. It's the motivation at this point is just kind of to just do it. I don't really have any
Keep
like,
going, keep the train going.
yeah, just to keep going. But I don't know if it's because like I necessarily want to or something. It's just like, just because that's just life. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? It's my favorite thing to do.
for sure.
So
It's what you
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
For sure. Respect to that. So, I've talked to some local bands, band called New Aesthetic,
Mm,
band called Distressor. I've talked to a few different bands of all kind of different styles, and that's one thing I love to do is find artists of all different types and just pick their brains. Kind of see what you guys are thinking, what's going on out there right now, especially for the younger cats. I mean, I'm an older cat, so
hmm.
I don't get out to shows much or anything like that, but I've been through that too. I used to hang out at Soma back in the day when, it was not the old Soma. And that was
Right.
like the second Soma. That wasn't even the first Soma, but still I
Hmm.
saw so much cool shit and played shows and it was fun. And so I like to see, the younger cats doing their thing. And, but there's just so much shit out there. It's cool. I love it. And so are you guys, you know, the word scene to me is kind of, I don't know. To me, the whole music is all a scene. I don't like to differentiate, and say, well, there's the hardcore kids and there's because shoegaze is huge right now. Like, oh, there's all the shoegaze kids. Or there's, I
Yeah.
mean, do you guys kind of like interplay, or is there like, do you guys fit in a certain spot? Because it just seems like there's so much going on right now, and I think that's fucking cool, and I would hope everybody kind of mixes together.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like we've always kind of pondered that ourselves, because we don't, like you said, there's a lot of different types of stuff, but I don't really find us kind of fitting anywhere.
Yeah,
But at the same rate, that kind of makes us kind of go anywhere and kind of be along with anyone as well.
right.
It's yeah. As far as San Diego goes, I don't really know if, like, I'm pretty detached, I'd say myself, I mean, I try to go to shows as much as I can and stuff,
Sure.
but there's just so much. And to be frank, there's not much that like really interests me
For
all
sure.
the time in the city as well. So I think that's part of it. But
Yeah.
we just kind of, for us, we just kind of do our own thing, and
Yeah.
whoever wants to be involved can be, and
Yeah.
that's what we care about. So
Nice. Where do you stay? Are you in San Diego or are you outside of San Diego?
yeah, we're on San Diego.
Oh, okay. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel that too because I think it's always been the same. San Diego has this kind of it doesn't have it's missing like an element of excitement for some reason.
Hmm.
I don't know if you identify with that or not, but that's kind of how I've always felt. And there's like pockets of things, but not one big communal like thing, and I don't know if that's just the way things are and that's the way they've always been, but for some reason San Diego always kind of felt like sleepy, compared to other places. Like,
Yeah.
and not to diss San Diego, I love San Diego, but it's I don't know. I mean, there's I would say there's more venues now than when
Hmm.
I was younger, but it's still like the same spots all the time. I don't know. Where have you toured? How far out have you gone?
Oh yeah, we've toured we toured all across the country in the spring and stuff. We were gone for like close to 6 weeks, I think it was, and we went
Nice.
all the way to Toronto and
No, fuck yeah.
did it all. But I will say, I think, because most recently, like in September, we were in New York City for a month,
Yeah.
and obviously that city has a great,
Yeah.
ecosystem of bands and people that
Yeah.
attend and go to shows every night of the week and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but the bands aren't much better than the bands in San Diego. In fact, I'd say there's more bands in San Diego that I like than bands in New York that I like.
Nice.
I think in San Diego it's really a structural thing. I think
Right. Right.
like I think I mean, if you
Like
live in
even
Chula Vista,
geographical, yeah, geographically,
yeah, if you
yeah,
live in
yeah.
Chula Vista, it's kind of a trek to get yourself to North Park or something,
Right. Right.
and I think that's definitely part of it, and and yeah, it's just a laid back city too. I think people are comfortable here, and maybe on a Wednesday night not wanting to go to a
Right.
bar,
Right.
to
Right.
see a show is kind of on everyone's mind.
Yeah.
So
I think
I don't
that's
know. San
more
Diego
so,
does
yeah.
what it does, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's something. Like I said, I've just on my own little hunt that I do,
Hmm.
I dig, and mostly through Instagram. I'll see flyers of one band that I came across, and then I'll go through the flyers and I'll just pick other bands and listen to their music, and then decide, is this someone I want to talk to? Is this, there's got
Yeah.
to be something in it for me that I find interesting, and that's just digging. It's like a DJ. You dig and you find those ones that you identify with, and that's what you put out.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's everywhere, obviously, because even in digging for my music playlists that I do, I'm online and just finding labels and then digging through their artists,
Hmm.
rosters, and there's so much music out there. It's crazy. Once you really dig, you don't understand how much music there is out there. Like
Oh yeah.
constantly. Not
Yeah,
just not
man.
just
There's
old music, but now there's so many
there's a
things
lot
happening
of
now.
new music, especially because it's so easy to make music. I mean, you
True.
can. A lot of our first recordings were just me in my bedroom, kind of stuff, and even how we record now, it's our friend has a studio, so we just go with him and
Yeah,
kind of do that, and it's really easy to do it, so why wouldn't you, and it's a good thing, I think the more people making music is the better. It's better for the whole world,
I
so
agree. I agree.
yeah.
And because anybody can pick and choose whatever they want. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have variety. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
wants variety.
Yeah, I didn't say I was listening to music,
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah. But it's out
but
there.
it's
Yeah,
it's out there. Yeah,
for
it's
sure.
out there for those who want it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite venue in San Diego?
Um, I like we play the Casbah a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely like our home field
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, I like going there as well. Their drinks are pretty strong.
Which one?
They can be kind of dangerous.
Oh,
Um, but I also like Soda Bar.
yeah.
Obviously, like the bigger, like Music Box and Observatory are always fun to go to and kind of a spectacle and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, there's not really,
Much else. Yeah.
yeah, well,
I mean, there is,
yeah,
but
we
yeah,
have we have
not.
slim pickings, but
Yeah.
I don't think there's a venue that I'm really like, geez, I maybe. Nah, probably shouldn't say. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus,
Well,
but
I mean, to me, Casbah is probably the best spot. It's got the best
totally,
sound,
yeah,
best location.
yeah,
You
man,
know,
it's super.
it's
It's
got
just
its
rad, and
history.
the history's great, and
Yeah.
the people are great too, and
Yeah.
people have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's really a place that people have fun. I feel like, yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Have you guys played in Mexico at all?
yeah. We actually did in last year. We were in Mexico City. We played
Oh,
a
damn.
couple shows, and we played in Querétaro as well
Nice.
on that same trip, and it was fun. Yeah, that was a real trip to do
Yeah.
as like a band. It was like our first time really, like, obviously, like going over the border and going international and stuff, and
Yeah.
they treated us so well. It was like the first, like, you know semi kind of like Beatles coming to New York for the first time is
Nice.
kind of what it
Feel
felt like in our head, but
dope.
very not like that, but I could daydream enough to make it feel like
For
that.
sure. Respect. And how did the crowds take it? I mean, I know what to me they're like fanatical down there about practically anything.
Well, yeah,
Especially if it's good, especially if it's good.
yeah, it was strange, and I don't know how it got set up like this, but we played on Mexican Independence Day in
Oh,
Mexico
nice.
City,
Fuck yeah.
which I guess on paper kind of seems like more fun,
Oh,
but it definitely like took away from the crowd a little bit. But there was still a good amount of people, and it was a good
oh,
venue and
oh, I
stuff.
see. I
But
see what you're saying. Yeah.
people down there are just really enthusiastic about music, and
Yeah.
they love music, and I feel like it was the type of vibe where it's like people were hearing music and were just curious, and wanting to like go watch it just to see what was happening, where I think in America it's not really so much like that. I feel like people are more focused on their tasks and what they actually have to do, but
Right.
it was fun. It was great. It was super cool.
Well, Mexicans know how to have a good time for sure. So, and music
That
is
for sure,
always
yeah.
music is always a part of that completely.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I mean,
And I think
go ahead.
but yeah, I think being American definitely added like a bit of interest when I reflect back on that trip,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was fun.
Have you guys heard of any venues in TJ? Because I know there's some really cool spots in TJ. Would you even consider that?
Oh yeah, I would love to go to TJ. I'm surprised we haven't
Okay.
yet. Um I think the only venue I know down there is called like Mustache or
Okay.
something, Mustache Bar or something
Yeah.
I've heard of.
There's a lot of different
Um
bars, really cool
yeah.
bars and restaurants.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I'm,
I would love to play down there.
I mean, more so now, I think, because I've got friends that live down there, coworkers and stuff. And I mean, I used to go party down there when I was younger, even in high school.
Sure, yeah,
But to like, the dance clubs, not. Now I know that there's a lot more kind of more, like craft style bars and that have bands. Like I know Mamut, I think is one place. I don't know
yeah.
if they
Okay.
have live music, but I just know that there's more going on now with this generation than more so in that kind of vein, more socially, cool and music oriented and good drinks and not just go to the club and get fucked
Yeah,
up,
yeah.
like
I think everyone is kind of on, even in San Diego, I
yeah,
think things are getting a
exactly.
bit more like posh almost. Like
Right.
people really kind of want to, instead of getting maybe like sweaty and dirty and crazy, it's more like, you have like the spots like Part-Time Lover, for instance, where it's more casual and laid back and easy listening and chilled out.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't been to TJ in a minute. Um, Luke, who's in the band, and Ivan, who's in the band, go pretty often though.
Okay.
But oh yeah, I need to go soon because I don't even know the vibe anymore down there.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like I said, I have friends and they tell me stuff, and I'm just like, all right, cool. I don't know. I haven't been down there in a long time, so I have no
yeah,
idea.
yeah,
It sounds cool, you
yeah.
know.
I'm down.
So, how? So we did talk, like you're saying, hardcore and stuff, and like now, how diverse is your musical taste? Like, I mean, obviously, you grew up in music. You were born into music in a way, I would say. And so how diverse has your palette become now? What really, just like I'm saying, there's so much music out there, and I love to dip into everything. I'm down for
Yeah.
whatever as long as it sounds good and it rocks and it's got the groove and it's got the bounce or whatever, those elements.
Mhm.
How much has your palette changed since, well, the whole time?
Yeah, I think right now in my life I'm definitely like in a more reserved palette, if that makes sense. Like I tend to just kind of stay with the bands that I know I love, kind of thing. Which is right now a lot of, and for the last couple years, I
Okay.
mean, it's just been really rock and roll music and 60s stuff
Yeah,
and late 70s punk and
sure.
90s, British stuff and just rock and roll, like that's kind of where I stay a
Hmm.
lot. I mean, I definitely veer off here and there. Like I love a lot of electronic music and I love a lot of reggae music and
Nice.
stuff like that. But kind of when I was like 19, I'd say I was like really like looking and really diverse with like everything I was listening to and just because I feel like I was really curious back then and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah.
And obviously, with that kind of headspace, you find bands that you'll love forever. But right now, I'm definitely just kind of, it takes it. What I'm trying to say is it takes a lot for me to like get into a band or even try and listen to them, to be honest.
Sure.
Like
Sure.
it'll take a lot for me to be like,
Yeah.
okay, let me sit down and like see what's going on here. But
Same. Trust me.
yeah.
I'm very picky about my shit. Like always have been.
Yeah,
But when I hear the right thing, I hear it and it catches me and it's like a hook and I'm a fish. It's just like, whoa,
totally.
got me. That's good. I like that.
It just takes one time. It's
Yeah.
just I don't know though. It's really like that. I'm kind of the same with like movies too. Like there's a lot of movies out there I feel like that
Yes.
I know I'll love,
Same. Yeah. Same.
but I just don't want to do it or
Yeah.
something. But until I do it, I'm just like, oh my gosh, what was I doing this whole time? Should have been watching that or listening to this, but
I just hear so many people talk about, oh, what are you streaming right now? Whatever, and whatever is popular on Netflix or whatever. And I
mhm.
have no interest. Everything I watch is old. I watch all old stuff. I'm like, I stick with the oldies and I stick with the good stuff that I know is
Yeah,
good because
with
I don't know. The state of things right now, sometimes you can tell, I can tell. That's just me though.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to like movies or TV shows or something, like I'm a real like it takes a lot for me to like even just try it, you
Same,
know.
same.
Just because I'm really about the things that I love already, and I'm a really obsessive kind of fan and stuff.
Yep.
So when I love something, I like really, really love it, and I need to know everything about it, kind of thing. So I think that's kind of where the apprehension comes, because I'm like, oh gosh, like I don't want to like crack open a jar or something in my
Yeah.
brain, you know?
Sure. No,
Yeah.
yeah, I feel the exact same way. It's crazy. And
Mhm.
and unapologetically, you know, because
Yeah, yeah.
I have
There's no
no one
shame.
else to answer to but myself, you know.
Right.
So, so you mentioned reggae. How deep do you get into reggae?
I got pretty into it
Because I love
during.
reggae music. I love reggae.
Yeah, yeah. I love that shit. I got into it like maybe 5 years ago, or during like right before COVID or something. I was
Okay.
really getting into it, and but I love like King Tubby and
Okay.
Scientist
Yeah.
and I mean I'm blanking, but
So
just a lot of
dub
dub and
and roots, probably any roots.
y- yeah, totally. Right when I was getting into like all the British shit
Yeah.
and like really being mod and
Yeah.
having my fishtail parka and my Fred Perry on and my short haircut and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I also was getting into reggae because that's like where that all comes from,
Yep.
all the style and
Yep.
all that music and stuff. And yeah, I love that shit, man. It's the fucking best.
It is the best. It's crazy
It's such a
how, yeah.
fucking cool thing.
To me, it's just as heavy as anything else. And
Hmm.
when I find good, and that's why, like a lot of my playlists that I do, I'm pretty concentrated of style. So all my playlists that I do they're all differentiated by style. So one playlist will be reggae, one playlist will be, you know, like metal or
Hmm.
whatever I'm into. You know, there's the whole like soul movement right now is crazy, especially coming out of LA. And, you know,
Yeah,
there's a lot of soul music and they're making it sound like the 50s and 60s music, but
yeah.
they're even recording in the same fashion, you know, with like
You
one,
like the Sacred Souls,
oh
or
yeah, these Sacred
yeah, they're the
Souls, the
best, man.
Sinceres, the Altons, all
Yeah,
I came onto them pretty early on when that started breaking out. And
right.
I've just been hooked ever since because I grew up on lowrider oldies and Motown
Totally.
and doo-wop and shit. You know,
Yeah.
I grew up on that, so that's it. I'm there. It's like the resurgence is kind. I'm just like, dude, and I'm showing my parents shit. I'm like, dude, you guys got to check this shit out. They're like, damn, it sounds like old
Oh
school
yeah,
shit.
they're
You know, it's like,
the Sacred Souls specifically for me are like they're up there with the best bands.
yeah, and they're from,
One to ever come out of San Diego, and
yeah, they're from,
two best bands. I mean, they're probably the best band right now in the whole world in my eyes, you
yeah,
know.
their vocalist is so dope, dude. He's got such a
Josh is
good
awesome.
voice.
I know Sal fairly well,
Nice,
who's the bassist and stuff.
fuck yeah,
Because he was in a band back in the day and stuff that I would go see and stuff. But they're just fucking, they're so amazing. They're so good.
yeah, they are, and a lot of these bands that are coming out, and I don't know if you know who Joey Quinones is, but
Yeah,
yeah, he's that dude's just on top too and just killing, you know. But then he, you know, he does the soul stuff, but then he's got his other band that he started. I don't know if he's still, I think they still play here and there, but when he was younger, they were called the Steady 45s.
yeah,
I mean,
okay.
they're still out, but
That's
I
yeah.
don't
It
think he
sounds
plays with them.
familiar.
But they're like ska, you know, they're straight
Oh,
up ska.
interesting.
Dude, they're so dope.
That's such a good name for that.
The Steady
Steady
45s.
45. I love that.
Yeah, you check them out. And like I said, so what I do with my mixes is I find, you know, all these bands, they're all recent releases. I keep it within about 3 years, you know,
Mm,
whatever they release within the last 3 years, but all the same genre. And there's so much. I like ska and rock steady. Those are my favorite of reggae genres,
yeah.
if you want to call it genres. But I like the romantic love songs and I like the upbeat, just uh,
Oh
the shit
yeah,
that makes
man.
you want to dance and skank, you
I
know?
love Prince Buster is so
Yeah.
great, and Desmond Decker,
Yep.
and all that shit, man. I love that.
Yeah, Alton Ellis and all the old school
Yep.
heads. And
Yeah, man.
so there's new bands, and I found bands from like all around the world that are making that shit new, and I love
Yeah,
finding it, and it sounds like old school shit, and
that's so cool.
it's
Yeah,
dope.
it's cool because it's like it's almost like they're students of the genre,
Exactly.
and that's super important, obviously,
Yeah.
like I'm thinking right now there's a band called the Lemon Twigs that is like full 60s Beach Boys kind of thing,
Fuck yeah.
and their recordings are so that, and their performances are so that, and it's just when you watch them or you listen to them, it's like, oh, these people are like, they're they're students of it, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's not just like an interest. It's like
Right.
they have studied it and they know it,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. And I feel the same way about like bands like the Sacred Souls, obviously, too, It's
Yeah.
like these are people that love this type of music,
Yeah.
but and also just have studied it to the ground, and it's amazing to see the passion of that kind of come out,
Yeah, and they're making it their own, even though it
Totally.
sounds reminiscent of the styles and the bands of the past, but they're making it their own. And
Yeah,
then they're creating a whole culture with it. That's what's fucking
exactly.
cool,
Yeah.
man. I love that shit.
Yeah.
I love that. To me is
Sometimes
what
there's
it's
no
all
need
about,
to
you know?
yeah, you don't need to reinvent the wheel all the time, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of tools out there
Mm-hmm.
musically, and that we can learn from and just kind of progress, It's like soul music and rock and roll music didn't have to stop in the 70s, We could
Right.
still do it and make it the best it ever could be.
It's perpetual, I constantly
Totally.
call music infinite. I've been saying that a
Yeah.
lot lately. I'm like, music is infinite. We're gonna die out before music dies out. Music will never die
Oh,
out.
yeah.
So
Yeah, no.
obviously
As
it's
long
gonna
as
be
someone has a rock.
cyclical, it comes in cycles.
Yeah. As long as someone has a rock to bang or a string to pluck, it'll always be there, man.
Yeah, an animal skin to beat a stick on.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck yeah, that's cool that you like reggae, dude. I respect that a lot because not a
Yeah.
lot of people do. I mean, people do, but obviously when you talk about reggae, people are like, oh, like Bob Marley, and I'm like, like Bob
Yeah.
Marley was when I was like
I love
5,
Bob
bro. I
Marley
mean, of
too. Like
course,
I'm
everybody
not
loves
gonna,
Bob Marley.
yeah, I get what you mean though. It's
Yeah.
like fucking, and I'm not, the big difference too is I'm not no fucking like hippie fucking reggae lover, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a cool
Yeah.
reggae dude. Like
Yeah. Same.
I'm not with fucking tie-dye t-shirt or shit like that,
Yeah, dreadlocks and
Fuck
fucking
no.
smoking weed
Yeah.
all the time. It's like,
I
no,
take
bro, that's
showers
not.
and shit, dude. I'm not fucking,
I'm not a dirty hippie.
yeah, I'm not no fucking hippie.
Yeah, my homeboy in high school used to find a lot of these mixes, and he would show us like a lot of the roots from back in the day, like Johnny Osborne and Don
Hmm.
Carlos and all that. So it was all brand new to me, and I was just like, oh shit. I mean, I'd already heard Bob Marley and shit, so I was like, I was
Yeah.
all about it. I was like, all right, cool. I just love the feels. I love the rhythm and I love the groove. But then once I started branching out and getting into my own, like especially when I was DJing for a while, like I was buying
Yeah.
vinyl and shit, and there was this record shop out in North Park that I would go to, and I would just find crazy shit, and I'd be like, "Show me some shit, dude! Like, show me like what am I gonna like if I like this?" And that's when I just started learning more and more, and that's when I found Rocksteady, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
Rocksteady is the shit." And then I started hearing Bob Marley and the Wailers,
Hmm.
Rocksteady, their 60s
Yeah.
shit, the Rocksteady shit. And I was like, oh shit, like they did that first. I was like, I had no idea, so
Yeah, that shit's
eye
really
opening.
fucking good too,
That's my
man. The
favorite Bob Marley shit is the old
Yeah,
school,
I'd
the
say the
Wailing
same for
Souls,
me.
or no,
E-
yeah,
Yeah,
The
all that
Wailers, yeah.
shit's so great, man. It's also for me with reggae, and since I lean more towards like the dub
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
really the production, It's all that
yeah,
psychedelic, laser sounds and
Yeah.
fucking, you know, the repetition
Yeah.
and just the like, it's so fucking tough, you
Like
know,
that
it's
Lee
so
Scratch
rad.
Perry shit, man, you know?
Totally, man. It's fucking, it's just, it's right there, you know, it's awesome.
Have you heard of a Twilight Dub Circus? What's this called? I always forget the name.
Twilight Dubs.
Hold on. Twilight. I'm literally gonna look it up just so you can check it out. I'll send it to
Yeah,
you.
I'm down.
But it was from like the early 2000s. And this dude, I think he's a British dude. He just made it all. It's called Twilight Circus Dub Sound System. Yeah, Twilight Circus Dub Sound System. I'll send you some tunes, but he
Is
just
that a
did,
band or?
it's one dude that just made like Lee Scratch Perry, like he would just
Oh, okay.
make dub songs, but it's so sick, dude. Like
There's this rad dude named I think it's called Patchy Man.
oh
Patchy
yeah,
Man.
dude, I've heard that fool.
And he is
That fool's
a
sick.
fucking wizard, man.
Yeah,
like he's
dog.
like, and he'll do fucking videos on Instagram. Like
He's
it's
a
fucking
Latin
nothing.
fool.
Of
He's
like,
from like Brazil or something or some.
Yeah,
I recently
yeah.
found him. Yeah.
yeah,
Dude, that fool's
I've known him
sick,
for
dude.
a little bit,
Yeah.
and he'll just be on Instagram, fucking at the fucking desk, and then at the drum kit and playing the fucking. It's just so rad.
He's got the old school fucking board and everything.
Totally.
Dude, that fool's sick, dude. He's
And
like
some
the
of the
new Lee
fucking
Scratch
songs
Perry
are-
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, are fucking sick.
Yeah, it's fire, dude. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That dude's sick, dude. That dude's sick
Mhm.
as fuck. All right, cool, man. Well, let's get into the music. Like I said, I always ask the artist, give me your influential songs, one from, you know, when you were young or when you were getting started in the music, one kind of midpoint and one most recently. So
Mhm.
the Beatles, man, these guys just keep coming up recently. It's so funny, and I was never a really hardcore Beatles fan, but
Yeah.
I was like unknowingly because I heard and this song, same. I'm just hear this song and I'm like, fuck, dude, it takes me back to when I was like probably like 8-10 years old. And would hear these songs, and I know it has some sort of influence on me, whether I really knew it or not. Because anytime I
Right.
hear people talk about Beatles, you know, it's like, do you like the Rolling Stones or you like the Beatles? And then usually it's like, which Beatles album? You like Revolver? You like White Album? And I'm like, no, I like the pop shit, bro. Like that's the heat, bro. That's that fucking heat. Because
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
just nonstop, just hooks, and they just get you right away, and it's simple, and it's fucking
Yeah.
right to the point. And
It's great, man. That's definitely the Beatles that I fell in love with, you know, because when you're a little kid and you see them in their like suits and the fucking haircuts and shit, it almost looks like it's like a four-headed monster, you know, it's like a superhero in and of itself, you know. So
respect.
that's the era that I like sort of landed on when I was little.
Yeah.
And purely just, I mean, when I was little, it was probably just looks, man. Like just because they look so cool, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in the same vein as like Kiss or something, you know. In my head, it's like it's just like a entity, you know.
Yeah.
And then the infatuation just continued, and obviously, I loved the music and stuff like that, and then I just kept listening, and you know, I grew old with it, and well, not old, but
Older.
you know what I mean? Just fucking, you grow older and you get a little smarter and you're like, oh, wait a minute, this is pretty fucking clever.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Nice. All right. So it's I should have known better. Let's go.
Cool.
I should have known better with a girl like you, that I would love everything that you do. And I do. Hey, hey, hey. And I do. Whoa, I never realized what a kiss could
So why this song?
I picked this one because I just think about when I was a kid and really into them, and obviously first watching A Hard Day's Night and stuff, and the movie, and
Yeah.
just loving that and loving John, really, and this being a John song, and
Yeah.
the scene in the movie, where they're singing this song, it's like they're in a train and it's kind of whimsical and fun, and
Yeah.
I just think about when I first started loving them, when I hear that one, so
Yeah.
yeah.
I just heard it right now and had thoughts of how simple it is. John's not, like he's not, his voice isn't bounced. Like it's very straightforward. There's it's very panned out. First of all, when you hear it in headphones, it's
It's a bit
I don't listen to the Beatles in headphones too much. So when I'm hearing it right now, I'm just like everything's panned hard and it's so simple yet so like when it gets to that part and when I told, it's just like, oh, I see why the girl starts screaming, bro. It's just like, oh fuck, like that's just,
it's amazing,
that's just
man.
hard, bro.
They just had such a knack for it,
in a tight little package, in a tight little, here you go, here's one, and then
totally,
next song,
man.
number two, it's just like real quick.
When I think of their songs and their songwriting and stuff, especially in the earlier times, it was really just, it wasn't really any like verse chorus where it's like only the chorus that is singable. It's the verses are as singable as the chorus is, and the bridge is as singable as anything else too. It's all melody. It's just all catchy.
There's just little shifts in them here and there to kind of just
right. Yeah. It's amazing.
Subtle, very subtle, little, just very
simple. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I love that.
It's crazy to hear it now and just have even more respect. Just like, fuck, dude, they were so, I get why people are so infatuated with them, but at the same time, to me, they're showing me their tools and I'm like, oh dude, they knew how to use their tools. Like that's fucking cool, man. Like I respect that way more than, oh, it's the Beatles. I was like, I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't care who it is. That's a sick ass song. That's all I care about,
Yeah, it's for me, it goes pretty deep, and it's kind of just been my whole life kind of thing, just being, I mean, it's totally why I started playing music in the first place. And
nice.
I mean, I was pretending to be John Lennon when I was 8 years old, even before I knew how to play guitar and stuff, so it's like,
for sure,
it's like religious, it's them, it's all about them for me. So
he's your favorite, John?
He's my favorite. Yeah.
Cool.
He's the voice is just fucking through the roof for me, man. And just, he was a flawed dude, obviously, and fucked up in a lot of ways, but he was just a fucking human, I feel like. And, really when it comes down to it, had a fucking crazy voice and, crazy attitude towards everything, the world and all that shit, so.
At this point, George is my favorite songwriter because he gets more bluesy and I more gravitate towards the blues, but I love John's voice. Just like you're saying, you hear he wears his heart on his sleeve. Like he's just
totally.
Like, he's just like, fuck it, like it's like,
fuck,
dude.
man,
and he's funny,
John,
and he's funny as fuck, dude. Like he's so.
Oh, they were all so funny.
Yeah, they're all funny.
I've seen all the interviews and all that shit. I mean, they were really, especially when they first came out, it was just like this explosion of character, and just obviously matched with great timeless songs. It's just like you couldn't fucking beat it.
That's crazy.
But I love George as well. I mean, I love them all
for sure.
I love George's All Things Must Pass is a great record, and you know, obviously like his later Beatles songs too, you know, I mean, are some of the best Beatles songs
Yeah.
out there, you know, I mean, it's the stuff he was able to produce was pretty
Yeah.
remarkable.
Have you heard Let It Be Naked?
Yeah.
That's
I've heard
my
that.
favorite Beatles album. Is
I
Let It Be
love Let
Naked.
It Be. I love the naked version
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I love the Get Back documentary. I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw that,
That
but
was crazy.
them making that record is
Yeah.
just, I mean, I really think it's like the same level of like if we had, you know, 3 hours of Picasso painting, you know,
Right.
or something, you know, it's like some real,
And that was a rough session, dude. That was obviously,
man.
obviously.
It's just so, but it's so, there's so many awesome moments of just like not only seeing how a band works, you
Yeah.
know, but seeing how their band worked and how it
at that
was
level
falling
where
apart
they were
and
too at that time, you know what I mean?
totally.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
On their way out, kind of, in a way, you know?
Yeah,
You
man.
know?
But also seeing, I mean, like my favorite moment in that movie was when, you know, Paul shows up to the studio early and
Yeah.
he's just by himself and he's playing
Yeah.
the bass like it's a guitar or something, and then all of a sudden, you know, you get back, like you can kind of see
Yeah.
it forming, and it's just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's crazy, you know.
Brutal.
But for me, it also makes me feel like, oh, he does it the same way I do. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
no different.
Yeah.
And it puts you kind of in it, you know, if you are a
Yeah.
songwriter and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah. There's one literally particular part when I first watched it, when it first came out. I like took a video on my phone because I was like, is this where punk rock came from? There's one part where him and John are just fucking around and Yoko's like sitting right there next to John on the amp. And they just go just like Paul's just kind of yelling and it would sounded like punk. And I was like, whoa, that was fucking crazy. I'll have to watch it again and pick out this. It's this one little isolated part where there's shit going on around. I think they're adjusting cameras and shit.
Yeah.
And just Paul and John just go off each other and they're literally like just playing fucking 3 chords and just like strumming all hard and Paul's just fucking going off. And I was like, dude,
without a doubt,
that might have been the birth of punk right there for whatever reason.
I mean, I've read plenty of Beatle books and stuff, but they were fucking punk rock and, you know, right before they really got big, you know, and when they went to Germany and stuff, they were just fucking, they were playing fucking like how any punk band would be playing, you know, right now, you know.
Hours. That's crazy.
Man, and just
like literally 8-hour sessions, like fuck.
Yeah,
back to back.
Just
That's
being
crazy.
Dirty 19-year-olds, you know, just
with leather jackets, all leathered out.
Just totally.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So the next band you picked was Poison Idea. Pure Hate. Let's go. Speaking of punk, let's go.
Yeah.
Well,
So what was that about? Where did that come from?
That's just a
It,
song that I think about when I think of when I first, like I said, started being in bands and stuff and going to shows and doing that. And
yeah.
the first band I was in, we used to cover that song, and
And who
I
is this
feel like that
band?
song is.
What era was this?
What was that?
What era is this? I have no idea who this band is, so I'm just asking, like, what?
So Poison Idea, that's off of Pick Your King, which is one of my favorite EPs.
Hmm.
Honestly, probably like the only release that I actually listened to from them, because the other shit really got, like, later on it got really like fucking tough and breakdowny and kind of, like I said, not really
But what
really
era?
all
Is this
about that.
old school punk or is it?
Yeah, this is like the 80s.
Oh,
This is
okay,
like
okay, cool.
80. I don't want to say because I'll probably butcher it, but yeah, this is just a song my
Early to
first
mid
band used to
'80s,
cover.
probably. It sounds like.
Mid 80s,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
If I were to guess, I was guessing like 83 or 84
okay,
or
for
something.
sure,
But
for sure.
um but yeah, I just think of being in high school, and
Yeah,
just starting to learn how to play music and write music, and being, a punk rock kind of fascist in a way, in the sense of like I didn't let any other type of music kind of get into my ears other than punk rock, so it's good times.
Do you and your dad like have conversations and shit? Like, like, well, I
Hmm.
like this band. This band, okay. Well, I don't know about
Oh
this. Like,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time. Like
yeah.
we
Is
go
there
back and
debates? Are
forth
there
with a lot
debates
of
and
stuff
shit?
where I'm just like, you're fucking full of it. There's no way you fucking think this is good,
Fuck yeah, dude.
and he says the same thing
That's
to me.
cool.
But yeah, our tastes are, because my dad does like a lot of the heavier kind of
Yeah,
stuff, where I am
sure.
more, when it comes to punk music, I am more like fast and loud and
Yeah,
no break, and just give me,
yeah.
right in my face. I don't want any tough
Break.
guy kind of
That's
thing.
funny. That's cool,
Yeah.
man. I respect that. I like that. That's cool. Dynamics, dynamics. Even your own
Yeah.
kids will choose shit different than similar, but probably a little bit
That's
different.
how it is,
But
man.
that's cool. That's evolution. That's progression. I
Yeah.
believe music is supposed to be progressive. It's not supposed to be regressive. It's supposed to.
Totally. Yeah.
It's always supposed to move forward. Always. Oh, it's gonna move forward whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
But I think we all kind of latch on to certain aspects, and that's what we hold on to. All of us, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a spectrum, and it's a huge spectrum. So there's plenty to pick from. So not everybody's right and not everybody's wrong. It's just
Yeah.
it's just momentum. It's always moving.
Yeah. I will say my dad and I definitely, uh, like with the important bands, we
Yeah,
agree with, like
yeah,
obviously Bad Brains and,
yeah,
Gorilla Biscuits and
yeah.
Quicksand. I love
Yep.
Quicksand too and stuff like that. But some bands I'm just like, come on, dude. It's not fucking
Do you like
happening.
Refused?
Not so much,
Okay, for
I'll
sure.
be honest, but
That's
I
cool.
saw the tour and stuff.
Yeah.
That's really cool and stuff. But my dad does.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And
Well,
like
did
he
you?
loves Refuse.
They released a cover compilation recently,
Oh, did they?
literally just last week, and Quicksand did a cover of a Refuse song, and I think it's the best song on the album.
We
It's
were
so fucking cool.
we were listening to that release the other day, my dad and I, in the car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember that now, because they did a Quicksand song and I was like, what the fuck
yeah,
is this? Like, this sounds so, I was it was like it was a weird like brain mix up. It
yeah,
felt like a different dimension.
yeah.
But
It's cool. I thought it was great. I was like, oh, it sounded similar to old school Quicksand. Not to throw shade on what they're doing now. It's cool, but and I was never a hardcore
mhm,
Quicksand fan, but I respect what they do for sure.
for sure, yeah. I can't, I mean, that's the thing too. Like I when I say like Quicksand, for instance, like it's really only Slip.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
Exactly.
the first, or I mean, the album after that, I
Yeah,
liked
Manic
as well.
Manic Compression was good too.
Manic Compression,
Yeah,
yeah,
that was good
but
too, but Slip is the fucking anthem, you know, like
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't do any of like the newer
Yeah,
stuff. But like
same,
with my
same,
dad,
same.
for instance, like he'll maybe not with Quicksand because I don't know if he really likes
The newer
the
stuff.
newer stuff either.
Sure.
But like with some bands that are like classic bands with classic records already,
Yeah.
they'll come out with a new record and I'll be like, come on, dude, this is fucking shitty. And he's like, dude, it fucking rules. And I'm like, maybe he's probably just smarter than me, and I'll probably get around to it in a couple of years. But
You just got a different perspective, that's all.
yeah, definitely. Definitely.
That's cool. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, cool. So the third song you picked is Spiritualize, Come Together. Let's
Yeah.
go. Okay, so why this song?
That's just been something I've been spinning lately. You know what I mean? Getting into a lot, and that record is really amazing. You know, that one's definitely a rockier, you know,
Yeah.
in your face kind of rock and roller. But the whole album's just really diverse and a lot of different sounds and things, and
I definitely hear
stuff.
some Beatles in there too, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. They're like just some other like 90s British kind of rock and roll thing.
Okay.
But psychedelic, you know what I mean? Definitely. And yeah, I've just been all about it lately, you know. And
I can hear that in your music a bit, you know. I can hear
For
that.
sure.
Yeah, it's just driving, just keeping it like a pulse, like steady.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's just, and just that wall of sound, you know what I mean? Just in your face with a lot going on behind it, you know.
Yeah.
It's great.
Cool. Well, let's get into some Pleasure Pill, bro.
Cool.
So first you picked Wonder How. Let's
Yeah.
go. The dream. Let's go. Fuck yeah. That's cool,
Sick.
man. I love,
Thank
you
you.
know, you and I have a similar kind of vocal delivery. Like, obviously my voice is lower and your voice is lower, yet you sing in a higher register.
Mm-hmm.
I like that, you know, and I don't think too many people think about that, you know, and or know what that even entails to actually do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I just kind of go by it, you know, like I said, it's all about power for me,
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yeah.
And, you know, also just staying on key and hitting the fucking notes, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not about anything else for me, you know, it's just doing that. So going up there, get into that register is
Yeah.
just kind of where I can kind of have the most range, I feel like, you know, and hit whatever I need to hit while also being really forceful and
When did you
powerful, you know.
really learn to do that? What how long ago would you say like you really started discovering that? Because it does take
Um,
some discovery, you know. It takes some
yeah,
experimentation, you know.
yeah. When we first started the band, I
Being
was
a
playing guitar.
vocalist and like really trying to sing on key and like
Yeah,
find your voice, it's not easy. It's not as easy as people might even be aware of. So I
definitely.
love asking this question and getting an honest like answer.
Yeah, I when we started the band, I was originally playing guitar and singing,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So I was doing both. Now I just sing.
yeah,
Um, and I think once we made the transition to me just singing is where when I really could, because I was already doing
yeah,
kind of the higher register thing and just trying to nail what I, you know, kind of the same tactic as what I'm doing now.
yeah,
But not until when I started just singing, it
yeah.
was really like
More,
knowing how I can do it consistently,
yeah, kind
you
of
know, and
clearing space in your brain, you know, like,
totally. Because I
yeah,
mean, playing guitar and singing, like I didn't realize until I stopped playing guitar and
yeah,
singing
yeah,
how much fucking effort that really
yeah.
takes, you know. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
you're literally splitting your brain in half
Yeah, yeah,
and trying to do two things at the same time
yeah,
as well as you can, you know.
yeah,
But now it's just it works out better, you know, because I
yeah.
can just sing as well as I can every night, you know.
Dope. You got a great voice, man, for sure. Respect to that,
Thank you.
for sure. All right, let's get to the next one. This is I'd Rather Be. Let's go.
You don't know just what you need. A million times for me to
Nice. That one's a little more spacey, I would say,
Yeah, definitely.
but still,
Yeah, that one's definitely more fuller and
yeah.
stuff like that.
I mean, I love the simplicity of it,
Mm.
and to me, especially where I'm at in my life right now, simple is better. And I think
Mhm.
it's always been. I think the intrusive thoughts of trying to complicate things for me was always my biggest enemy, of my expression, my art. And
Yeah.
so when I hear things that are simple and they sound good, it's
Mhm.
like, there you go. See, there's proof right there, like in the ether. It's in the ether. Like, why do you deny
Yeah.
that? And that's just me talking to myself.
Yeah, that's what I'm all about for sure. Like I just try to write, you know, simple and well, I don't know if simple is necessarily the word for it, but just catchy,
Right,
you know. I I
right.
I
Not
I
simplistic, but like,
simplistic, yeah, exactly, definitely. Like I just worry about catchiness and melody and
right.
getting stuck in people's heads, you know. That's really what I care about. That's the only thing I care about.
I think if the music is less complicated, then it leaves room for the vocals and the melody
Totally.
to shine.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. All right, let's hear the last one. Not giving up. Let's go.
Coming down from your ecstasy. In fever heat, I wish I didn't speak. My body aches for my nightly dreams. I'm not in your head this week. What's left to do when I'm left with nothing? Ignore the truth when we both know something. I may be down, but I'm not giving up. My head's on fire, thinking of what I crave. My heart feels cold, 'cause you don't feel the same. The sun's too bright, I wish I had your shade. It's hard to breathe when your hair fades away. What's left to do when I'm left with nothing? Ignore the truth when we both know something. I may be down, but I'm not giving up, giving up, giving
All right. Pretty straightforward,
See.
bro.
Yeah. I mean,
And I think that's the whole point. I get it, dude. I totally get it. And just talking about the Beatles, talking about all that shit, and you know, when we're done, I'm gonna send you. I don't think I sent you the music that I'm working on right now. It's like I do this. I have a solo project that I've been working on for the last couple of years, and still trying to record more shit. But it's very much the same. Like I said, I'm trying to work on my melodies and just like hooks. Like chorusy hooks.
yeah.
That's what I like to hear. And just very simple and straightforward and just
Mhm.
rock and roll. I've
Mhm.
incorporated more blues style, into my
Yeah.
playing and so I'll send it to you and you know, just get your perspective. But yeah, same. It's
Sweet.
just, I'm telling you, man, like, I don't know. To me, it always comes down to the basics, to the foundational elements that make good music. Good music when people I don't even think realize it, but people like you and me that are actually paying attention get it, and we reinforce it to make it part of what we do because that's what's important. Like,
Yeah.
as opposed to like shredding and fucking, you know, or I don't know. You know, there's different elements to everything, and everything fits in its, you know, like puzzle pieces. But I don't know. Just hearing what you do makes me feel good about what I do because it's just keep it simple, you know, like.
Yeah, man, that's what it's about. You know, it's all about you know, I just try to write music for other people too, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
like when I think of
Like easily
I don't know.
digestible, you know, like.
Yeah, totally. Like these songs aren't for me, you know what I mean?
Sure.
They're for other people, and um they're meant to make people feel good and make people understand them, and there shouldn't be no question marks next to our music, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because everyone, young and old, should be able to understand it in my head, you know? So,
Yeah. Respect to
yeah.
that. Cool. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate you coming on. It was cool talking to you. You know, I love talking to people that I can have a conversation with and actually identify with, you know, even though I'm
Sweet.
older and you're younger. I think it's cool, you know, and because we're all the same in a way, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man, it was a blast, man. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, brother.
Good chat.
I appreciate you. Tell anybody who's listening where they can find you, man.
You could find Pleasure Pill on Instagram, everywhere, you know, Spotify, Apple Music and stuff. Just look up Pleasure Pill and you'll find it, you know.
Cool. You got any shows coming up?
Yeah, we're playing Casbah on the 6th of December, and then more shows in the new year and stuff. So
Cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Jonah. I love talking to you. It was super cool, man. I appreciate your time.
Oh yeah, man. All right.
Thank you to anyone out there listening, anyone paying attention. I'm your humble host as always, Dr. I. This is your Blue Dreamer broadcast. And until next time, stay tuned, stay connected. Peace.